Hey guys, what's going on? This is part 4 of my weight loss journey. This particular period is months 12 to 13. So we're only talking about 1 month, but it was a very, very important month. So as I said before, you got to a year sober, you'd lost all this weight and things were great. You're kind of feeling very happy with yourself. But I had a couple of sort of realizations, and it all began because when you quit drinking, you don't set out with a date in mind to get to, but you have certain milestones that are important, and obviously the 12-month mark was huge for me. But what happened after that, I started thinking, right, I'm a year sober, what's next? What's my new goals and targets? And obviously if you've stopped drinking, so you don't really have to worry about that so much. So it was about, what else am I doing? Now, as I said earlier in a previous video, when I was at my worst and throughout my yo-yo dieting, my goal was always to get into the 16 stones, because I felt very comfortable and I felt I looked okay at that kind of weight. But here I was, 12 months sober. Sorry, I'm just looking at 12 months. I was weighing in at 15 stone, 1.5. So I'd smashed through the 16s and almost smashed the 15s. And the realization was, well, I can take this wherever I want, because I'm now burning the fat off in the correct way, at the correct pace. And I started looking and I started researching and googling ideal weights and stuff, and it was awesome. It was just that realization, well, bloody hell, you could actually get down to what science tells you is your normal weight. And that's the first time in my whole life I'd ever thought I'd be able to do that. So that was awesome. So I did it, and it came in at, I can't remember what it was. It was about 12 stone 6 it was to get down to get your BMI down to into the green and what have you. I was like, oh my God, that is so much weight left to lose. And obviously the weight's coming off really slow now. But the point I'm making is, I just got that realization that this is not a sprint anymore. This is a marathon, and you've got all the time in the world. You've got down to a level right now where if you just stopped now and maintained it, you would be so happy. But it was just knowing that, just carry on doing the right things, and that fat that you've got will come off slowly. So it was a lovely feeling. But the second realization I had in that 1 month period was, I started to look in the mirror, and I started to look, the waist, just to give you some idea of sort of size wise, at my very worst, when I was up at 302 pounds, my waist was 48 inch waist, which is huge. Embarrassing. I used to have to order work trousers from eBay, just this shop that did clothes for large men, fucking embarrassing. Just 48 inch waist is horrendous. Anyway, by the time I got into like months 12, 13, my waist was down to 38 inches. So all of a sudden, when you're going shopping for clothes and things, it's just, anyone who's overweight by a lot will know that horrible feeling of when you go clothes shopping and you're praying that they've got these extra sizes in, t-shirts, whatever, hoodies, and it's triple X and stuff. If you're lucky, you'll fit a triple X, and you're looking at pants and you're going through the hangers with the little marks on, and it starts at like 30 inches and you're 32, and you get to, and you just don't even look at front, you go right to back to see if you've got these massive sizes. And it's bloody hard work getting clothed, to be honest, when you're that size. And there's a lot of embarrassment and shame that I had anyway. But as I say, I'd knocked full 10 inches off my waist. So as I said, if I'd have stopped then I would have been fine. But as I started to look in the mirror, I did, although I was at, what was I at the beginning of the 12 months, I was 15 stone 1.5. But just there was no, what the problem was that although I was losing fat, I lost a load of muscle as well, and that really made a difference with my overall shape. I also, in that period, went out with a friend of mine who's got a tyre business, and I was just helping him, and we were just I was just helping load and unload his van, and I just realised how weak I was, and don't get me wrong, I was feeling absolutely top of the world, but I had absolute zero strength, and shaky arms and stuff afterwards, and I was like, this isn't good. I'm not too sure what I need to do here, but I need to do something. So I looked into it, and it's all stuff I knew already. You have to have a percentage of muscle on your frame, and the best way to do that is weight training, which obviously, as I spoke about in a previous life when I was much younger, I was bang into it. But the fear always was, because of my addicted brain, that you'll get into weightlifting, you'll see a few gains naturally, then you'll start all these supplements, you'll see a bit more gain, and then you'll want to go down and fucking jack up on steroids and stuff like that. And I was like, it was always a fear of mine. It was just like, no, it's just easy. I had this, again, because it's my broken thinking, was I could train for 1 or 2 months, and then all of a sudden you want to become Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's just ridiculous thinking. But I couldn't stop it. That's just the way I'd always been. So I'd put off the weights for a while, and obviously, as we all know, weight training is absolutely fantastic for your metabolism and fat loss, because obviously a short cardio burst it kind of all happens when you're doing the cardio, whereas when you do weight training, it extends your metabolism and your burning period up to 30 hours after one session. So basically your body's working for you even while you're doing nothing. And obviously there's so much to be said for a strong body and a strong mind. And I'm not talking bodybuilding, I'm just talking, just to have all your muscles, working all your muscle groups out and just getting a little bit stronger in yourself. So that's kind of what I needed to do in that 1 month. So it was a mindset change for me. I actually ended up losing, in that 1 month, I lost 9 pounds on top of what I'd lost before. And as I say, that took us up to month 13, where I started to look at weight training. I was really happy with my diet. Again, I just stuck to it. That was another problem. I'd been given this diet with the correct, I think, macros or whatever they call them. And as I say, but I didn't stray from it, and I should have done. I should have added different foods in, took some away, and mixed it up, and just made it a more balanced. Not so much of a chore. Okay, get up in the morning. Just this is what I've got to eat today, and this is the times I've got to eat it, and it becomes a bit monotonous. And when you're not interested, and when you lose, I won't say I lost faith in it, but it gets boring, and then that's when you start cheats or eating a few more bits of chocolate or whatever. Throughout all this period, from day 1 to month 13, I'd continued having chocolate treats, biscuits, crisps, that kind of stuff. But I was enjoying it, and I'd probably say 7 times out of 10 I had pretty good control of that. But on certain days, I would just eat too much chocolate. Again, it's probably something to do with the alcoholism, I guess, and that maybe it's not, but it's all about that sugary hit you get, and it that sugar just releases endorphins in your brain, and like, oh, this is wonderful, do more of it, But I used to get a hangover from that the next morning, a food hangover, and I'd feel horrendous, But I'd put a big bar of chocolate away. So I was starting out. What I was trying to do, I was trying to come to terms with what my next stage was. I'd done the 12 months, awesome. I'd got a lot of the weight off, and then this month I'd realised, well, I need to introduce weights into there. I need to become stronger. But on top of that, I realised that I needed to get control of the cheat days, and I started having a better understanding of it. And I think by the end of month 13, the penny had finally dropped for me, for my fitness and nutrition. And I kind of,
left that month knowing, right, I kind of know what I need to do for the rest of my life now, and which will mean, you know, I'll still burn the little bits of fat I've got, little bits, there's still quite a lot, but burn the fat I've got, and I'll stay healthy, and I've got a much better hold on my nutrition now. So I think I'll end it at that. That was just that 1 month period, but as I say, there was a couple of those key things that happened, which then moving on to the next video I'll talk about. So again, thanks for watching. Bye.